So, hello and welcome to this session of the ongoing Impact Summer Journey 2016. And today we have some very interesting session ongoing, and we will be at Impact Iceland and hear what's going on there. Recently, we had this fantastic experience of following Iceland in the football European Championship. I think a lot of people around the world were really excited of this great island, and now we have these amazing people and projects there. So I think that Tanya, and we will have some other people there also presenting their projects, will tell about the development and what they are doing. We also have a few other people here from Sweden and Nepal, and maybe also some people from Norway will show up and tell about what will happen ahead. But welcome, Tanya, and Impact Iceland. Tell a little bit about what you are doing.
Thank you, Bert-Ola. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to share with you what we're doing here. Currently in Iceland, we're preparing for a conference called Impact Iceland. It's taking place on the 16th of September in Reykjavik. Just to tell you a bit about where we are with social entrepreneurship in Iceland, it's still very new. The concept is still in process of becoming aware in the public. So through we're running a crowdfunding campaign for the Impact Iceland conference currently. And what that means is through the crowdfunding campaign, we're actually utilizing it to educate the public about social entrepreneurship. It's been met with quite favorably at the moment, and we're very excited about the progress. So just to tell you a bit more about the conference, so the conference will be 4 sections. The first section will be about what is social entrepreneurship and what is social innovation. The second section will be about the challenges and solutions we face here in Iceland as well as internationally. The third section will be having some presentations by some of these lovely social entrepreneurs, where we'll hear the stories of the local entrepreneurs on how they're doing and what challenges they might be facing in terms of the support structure to get them creating more impact. And then finally, the last section, we're focusing on what is the support structure. How can we take this conversation that we're starting at the Impact Iceland conference, and then how can we move it forward? So we're having speakers, impact investors, as well as people in the support area for social entrepreneurs. We're aiming for people to attend. It would be, for example, people in academia and educators. We're focusing on local and national government, on companies incorporating corporate social responsibility, and then, of course, the social entrepreneurs. So really, we want to get all the decision makers, everyone that can help to move and get the movement of social entrepreneurship active and moving more in the direction that we're aiming for. We want those people at the conference, but not only local people, but international people. We want to hear your experience. We want to hear what has worked for you and what we can incorporate here in Iceland. We are a little island in the north, and it would be wonderful to have the connection with all the different social entrepreneurship scenes in the different countries to really learn from your experience and share what we can also learn from you, and vice versa. The structure of the conference will also be very interactive. So we're going to have a roundtable format where people can discuss, and we'll have questions. So there will be lots of discussion moments as well as speakers. And then just to add about the speakers, we're aiming to have for each of the sections at least 1 international speaker and 1 local speaker. So we want that blend and that interaction from what's happening worldwide, as well as what we're able to incorporate here in Iceland and what's happening here. So that's really where we are right now. Just to give you a background for myself, I'm the CEO and founding member of Quaker, which is we aim to be the leader of social entrepreneurship in Iceland. We're currently founded as an NGO, and we're voluntary based. So at the moment, everything's coming from personal passion and drive to really get social entrepreneurship and social innovation moving in Iceland. We're really appreciative of all the support that we've received. Again, thank you, Bert-Ola and his crew. It means a lot to us to have this international connection and support. And so really we've been, from Quaker side, we've been working on this for 2 years, a bit of research, a bit of connection with people and meeting social entrepreneurs. And then, of course, now this year we're doing the big leap forward and doing a conference where we can really move things forward here in Iceland. I think that's all I'd like to share with you. Bert-Ola, is then the next step to move forward to presenting some entrepreneurs here?
Absolutely, as always, dynamically, and I think that's a great shift.
Okay, great, thank you.
We want to hear the people of action.
Wonderful. So I'm going to present to you first Brander. I'll let him speak really, so I'm going to move away and bring the computer closer to him.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
So,
tell about yourself.
Yeah, it's always fun. My name is Brander, and I'm the head of development in Frumbjörg, which is the place that we are in currently. Frumbjörg started out as there's an organization which primarily fights for the rights of people with disabilities, especially mobility impairment, and they had some empty space that we were thinking about what to do with. So somebody came up with the idea of starting an innovation center. So that's what we've been working on for the past 2 years, and now we are up and running. We did a crowdfund that allowed us to renovate this place and then get everything going. And we're very glad to have Tanya and her wonderful project and conference be a part of our team. And we are, just to mention a few of the projects that we have one project is involved with building a sort of Fab Lab facility that is accessible to everybody. And another one is we're making wireless muscle sensors that allow physiotherapists to see into the muscles while they're doing training with people. And yeah, that's kind of broad outline. One project that I'm particularly excited about is we're working with all kinds of people in Iceland on developing a sort of list where the idea is that we will listen to the problems that people with disabilities are facing, so they can contact us through different sorts of media. We will have other ways of collecting information into the list. And then we intend on working with the university here in Iceland on processing these lists and sorting out problems. Some problems can be solved perhaps with a good team in one or 2 days. Other problems might require more long-term research. So some problems will be delegated out to companies and asked to find a new way to produce this wheelchair or whatever that might be. And other projects will be delegated out to the universities, so that university students that are about to do their master's degrees or something of the sort, they can use this list to find problems that actually are, requiring good solutions. How's that?
Yeah, that's great. Just a short question there. Can you tell a bit about the process of setting up this innovation center? I know that we have a lot of people working in the co-working spaces and like that. How has it been, and how is it in Reykjavik in general? Is it growing, or how do people work together or not work together?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is a change occurring in Iceland. There are more and more of these co-working spaces opening up. I think a lot of them lack this social innovation aspect. They are more focused on finding the next, product that is going to generate lots of income. And we've had there's a bank in Iceland that has been creating a very successful test project where they give very small amounts of funding to projects that win in these innovation competitions that they've been organizing, and then they collect all kinds of successful entrepreneurs and give them mentorship programs. Again, they are a bit, focused on making a profit. What we've been doing here, and which has both made things easier and more difficult, is that we have this emphasis on health and welfare, and the idea is to create like a cluster. So we bring together here people that are mostly working on these kinds of projects, so that each one can benefit from each other's experience. We did have a problem finding funding in the beginning. I think people didn't really understand this, because we weren't trying to create a profit-making machine, but I tried to convince people that this still had real value, because people that are coming through our system, they are, for example, they are better workers. They've had experience of starting a company, and even if they don't succeed, they still benefit from having that information. But in the end, we did this crowdfund, and I think I don't know that there is another example of a venue like ours crowdfunding itself. It might be, but we are working with the crowdfund platform that we funded us in developing like a model that could enable others to go through a similar process. So you would go through a crowdfunding, get some limited funding that would be enough to make a start, and then it just depends on, I suppose, the society that it is in, how receptive it is, and how much it builds up. A lot of the resources that we have were given to us by banks and different companies. So I think that's always a big part of it. Of course, if you have really good funding, then that's not a problem. So if you have the possibility of connecting with a bank or some big financial institution, that's always something that's worth pursuing. Although, of course, they may have their own demands on how things are run. So I think there's always room for compromise.
Okay, great. That's it's very interesting, and I know a lot of people want to know about co-working spaces and how you get innovations running. So stay tuned and be part of the future, and I'm sure we can connect a lot of great stuff together later. So we had another entrepreneur, I think, there as well here. So.
I'll bring Robert.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easier that he comes here.
Hello.
So, welcome. Who are you? What are you doing?
Oh, very well. So, my name is Robert Bjarnason. I'm from the Citizens Foundation here in Iceland. This is a non-profit focusing on improving democracy and democratic processes. So, we started in November 2008, just as a direct result of the financial crisis that hit the world. But the three big commercial banks effectively all went bankrupt over a period of 2 weeks. But there was an even bigger problem that happened during this time, which was that there was a total breakdown in trust between citizens and the politicians, between citizens and the institutions. And so me and a group of friends, mostly my friend Gunnar, who had been my partner when we set up the first ISP in Iceland in '93 and the first web production house here in '94. We started to think about how can we use the internet to give people more influence, and that's what later became sort of how can we use the internet and those sort of new processes to help rebuild trust between citizens and the politicians. So we started, and in 2009 we launched our first website, it was called Shadow Parliament, where people could come in and they could comment on new law proposals being proposed in the Icelandic Parliament. And this was sort of a first trial project, and it went okay. So we realized quite quickly is that getting people to use this sort of participation platforms was sort of one of the biggest challenges. And so in 2010 there was a local election here in Reykjavik, in the city of Reykjavik. And the week before the election, we launched a new platform, a new website called Better Reykjavik. And we offered all the political parties that were running for the election their own area on the website. And one of the parties in the election was actually polling around 40%. And this was the best party, which was led by Jón Gnarr, who's a famous Icelandic comedian, much loved. And their week before the election, it was like a joke party. They didn't really have any policy. I mean, their policy promises was like, to put a, big polar bear into the children's petting zoo, for example. And so what they did is that they jumped on the opportunity and they basically told all their supporters, go to the Better Reykjavik website and help us to make policy for the next 4 years. And this became an instant hit. This was in the media every day, the online media everywhere in that week running up to the election. And we had about 45,000 people who participated in this process, by coming up with ideas, reviewing ideas, and voting on ideas. And the basic system is that citizens can put forward a new idea, and then people can debate the idea and vote them up or down to prioritize them, to let the city know what policy most people. What is the most important policy that most people agree with. And we also, a part of this is a debating phase, which is quite important. What we realized with our first version, and actually just to note, then all our software is open source. If you look up Citizens Foundation online, you can look at it, and all our software is still as open source. And so what we realized in 2009, after we launched our first Shadow Parliament website that had regular commenting system like Facebook, is that people often were discussing about something quite serious, and then the discussion went into discussing something completely different, and often arguments and so on and so on. So what we did was a very simple experiment, which we've been then sort of honing for the past 7 years. Is that quite simple? We split the screen in two. So people who agree with the idea have the left side of the screen, and people who are opposed have the right side of the screen. And you can't comment on other people's point. You have to write the point for and against. That's a whole. You only have 500 characters to do. And since then, this project has become very, it's worked really well. And Better Reykjavik is still alive now after 6 years. And we do participatory budgeting where people can. Come up with and help the city to prioritize the budgets for its neighborhoods, both to come up with ideas and how to spend the money. And it's also been expanding into we're working with many of the other councils and cities in Reykjavik, in Iceland, and we also have the Shadow Parliament evolved into something called Better Iceland, and we also have that. And we've been doing projects, I think, around 12 countries now, including Estonia, Hungary, UK. We're doing participatory budgeting in Scotland, and this is all has been quite it's obviously a social entrepreneurial setup. So there's been a lot of volunteer work involved and a lot of passion, and we are still going quite strong after now, like 7-8 years of doing this. It's quite rewarding. So yeah, that's a sort of quick presentation.
It's fantastic. I heard about it before, and I think even in Gothenburg, the city where I am right now, there is an interest in this platform. One thing that I'm a bit curious about, you said this lack of trust was going down in the fall of economy. Can you see any building up the trust or the way of measuring trust? Do you do that or?
Yeah, well, it's quite hard to quantify it exactly into a percent, Yes, I mean the trust, for example, in the Icelandic Parliament has increased a little bit. I think the last time it was 17% or something. It's, down from up from 9% or something. But our focus from the beginning, we realized that we needed to start on the local level. To get people used to this model of actually being able to participate. Then we've sort of started on the local level. We also done protests on the national level, both here in Iceland and also in Estonia. And we can see that here on the city level, when you have tens of thousands of citizens participating in a project, like for example, we had like 1 month of idea generation for the participatory budgeting project a couple of weeks ago that ended, and we had about 25,000 people who participated in that process. And the thing is that to have a dialogue and inclusiveness, those are all attributes that are a bit maybe hard to quantify, but definitely the city has been very happy, and I think the people participating in the process have been very happy.
Okay, that's really great. I think we can, if Michael is ready, because I know he was at this big political week called Almedalen just a few days back, so that brings a perfect bridge to Michael, and also California, which he will speak about. That's an upcoming event in a few days. So Michael, can you hear us, and are you ready there to tell about what you are doing?
Yeah, I'm ready here from Sweden. Hi everybody, I'm Michael from Sweden. I just went to a big event called Almedalen here in Sweden. It's in the Baltic Sea on the island of Gotland in the town of Visby, and it's started as a small political week many decades ago, and it's continued to be a political meetup for all the parties until social media and Twitter hit in 2007, and then suddenly it took off in another direction, and lots of people from all parts of society, companies, or interest organizations, churches, the healthcare, everyone started going there, and it gradually grew year from year, and now it's growing at an ever increasing rate. This year it was over 3,800 registered single events, and they're all free, and you can all participate in every one of them. You don't have to pay to come there. You just have to find your own way of living, camping, or renting an apartment, or renting a hotel room, or anything. So, and then you go and participate to all these seminars and workshops and panels, and many of them is about whatever the company or interest organizations are putting up, but there are also lots of workshops, and over the past 5 years it have attracted lots of social entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs from all over Sweden and from abroad as well. So it's the biggest meetup in Sweden for this kind of cross-cultural, cross-societal events. Every part of society is there. So, of course, we entrepreneurs and everyone who is interested in creating a better social future is there as well. Mingling with each other, changing ideas, going to all the other events, and raising questions about the future we create together. And two of the big themes this year was, of course, the 17 global goals that UN put out last year, and also a lot about digitalization. How do we digitalize all services in society to make them more available for everyone and better, and the less cost to society? So that's a big question. So it was a great, awesome event. I know Bert-Ola was there last year. He couldn't come this year, but I met a lot of other good social entrepreneurs, and I interviewed some of them. I have a YouTube channel where I can link to all the interviews with people telling them what's the best part for a social entrepreneur, why they should come to Almedalen. And even if you don't speak Swedish, there are lots of events in English, and Swedish people are fairly good speaking English, so you can get around speaking English all day.
And then I would also add to that we have in fact social entrepreneurs Denmark who who was like showing what was going on in Bornholm, which was the first of these Nordic events, which is a bit of replicated from Almedalen in Sweden over the years. And we will also be at Arendal, which is the Norwegian event in the middle of August. So trying to showcase a bit of what's going on in the Nordics and how democracy and entrepreneurship and civil society, politics and academies working or not working together. But that brings us to another part of what you're doing there in Varberg, something called California that is a pretty awesome event. And what will happen there, and tell us about that.
Yeah, I live on the west coast in Sweden, and we have all sandy beaches, and we are the best surf town in Sweden. So we created an event called California. Our part of the country is called Halland, and we copied it from California. So we put those two words together, and it made California. So it's a big festival. It's also free, and it's driven by a lot of volunteers and social entrepreneurs, and it's about celebrating the lifestyle of the surfer or the new modern entrepreneur. So there are lots of skate events and surf events and yoga events and dancing, and there are lots of arts projects, and it's a collection of maybe 100 small events, and everything you buy a support band and put on your wrist, and then everything is free. And you can go try out, and there are lots of families and kids events, and there are big festivities in the evening, and there you can do free yoga and free dancing and lots of cool part, and it attracts a lots of social entrepreneurs who want to change the world through entrepreneurship. So this is a great meetup for hanging with some cool dudes and girls in the west coast of Sweden in the middle of summer. And it's also part of a project we had last year that's called Varberg Calling for Peace, when we put together lots of events trying to figure out how can we get more peace into the world. It's the fourth project from Stanford Peace Innovation Lab. How can we make money making peaceful projects? And that's all what social entrepreneurship is all about. So we have Hang Loose for Peace is one of our taglines, and we lots of cool and awesome people. There are also lots of people interested in modern technology like drones and 360 movies, and there are lots of media production, and there are some lectures about entrepreneurship and creativity. I will be holding a workshop about entrepreneurship. So if you should come there, and I will also be live streaming on Facebook and putting it out on YouTube as well. And we can sum it up with the future. The future is not a destination. The future is a direction, and we the people we make that direction.
That's brilliant. I will also add that since Impact Journey started a little bit slow in a few weeks back, but now we are definitely gearing up. So it's 4 events next week, and there are another 10-15 that are planned in August, and we end this summer journey, at least in North Europe, you can say it's summertime now, in the middle of September. So we hope that more people will join, and we will present all these results in both Asia, in Singapore and Hong Kong in late September, and in San Francisco at Social Capital Markets. So we make a collection of the people and the projects, and try to bring a really nice collection together of the Nordic model, the Nordic projects and activities, but also, of course, the all other energy that is ongoing around the world. And we have a guest here, Pradeep from Nepal. He has been part many times, and he's on the line. He can hear us. It's always a bit challenge, but hopefully you can hear us, Pradeep. And what's going on there?
Hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello.
To you all.
So what's
Can you hear
going?
me?
Yeah, perfect. So what's happening there, and tell about what you're doing.
Yes, well, here lots of happening, lots of progress is happening over here despite of the challenging. Well, yes, here we are success to empower three phase of the women group and two phase of the children group to the ICT, information and communication technology. And recently we completed the plantation project. We planted 500, more than 500 numbers of plants in our community to make our community green community by the help of the women, children, and the youth. That is one known as the social entrepreneurs. Yes, we are focusing now. We are focusing to be a real, to be an real entrepreneurs to generate the income to reduce the poverty by the use, by being the entrepreneurs we can generate some income that indicates to reduce the poverty. So that's why I am here in touch with you all. And also last couple of weeks we had a short conversation with Tanja in Iceland. She and her group is going to do the social entrepreneurs impact workshop in September. We talked before with her about that, how shall I be there and to cooperate with you all. And after get back from the Iceland, after return back to Nepal, we can do the income generation type of the project as by being the entrepreneurs. That is what here I am thinking and we are trying to doing. That is the great achievement for us till to date. Thank you.
Yeah, great. And of course, you have been part a few times, but I guess many of the other people following don't know really about your project. So you started to build an ICT center for women entrepreneurs on one of the first in Nepal, if I understand. That has been growing into other projects. So can you a little bit elaborate on what you are doing there, the different activities?
Okay, sure. Well, I'm the founder and the president of Change Nepalese Mission Organization. It is a local NGO based in Nepal, and we are trying to empower the people from the base level, from the community level, because until and unless if we do not empower the people from the family member, from the community member, there is no any meaning of doing and doing entrepreneur or doing any business or doing any development project. So that's why before we have to do such type of the work, we have to empower them, we have to educate them, because education is the powerful key to unlock such type of the things to be an entrepreneurs and to make a path to move ahead. So that's why here we set up our organization, and after that organization we are successful to set up an ICT center where we empower the women, children and the youth. By the use of the ICT center, we provide them how to access the computer, how to access the mobile phones, ultimately to grab the information from the internet, and by cooperating with all people around the world. Now we are communicating from different countries. That is the miracle of technology. Without the ICT, it cannot be happen. So that's why I truly believe that ICT is the most powerful things to develop the society from the base level. This is our main task. Our main task is empower the people, empower the women, youth, and the children. Well, since 2015, here we had a devastating earthquake in Nepal. You all might know about our devastated earthquake where 10,000 plus people are compelled to die and so many people are injured. Still, people are homeless, and most of the kids are out of school. because they lost their parents, relatives, schools, all the things. After that, after the earthquake, during the time of the earthquake, we had supported to the victims as a humanitarian project. We supported around 500 households in the epicenter by providing the food, shelter, building the houses, all the things we did, what we have in our hand as a resource. And after that, we are success to rebuild the schools, where that schools
Let's see if he's coming back. Sometime there is a shortcut in the connection, but we can wait a few seconds more. And if he's not come back, we will share Pradeep's story there on the Impact Summer Journey event page. And I know he both have some Facebook groups and Facebook pages, and you can find really powerful pictures there and great interest of many people who are supporting. So I would say Pradeep and some other stories that we have been following now for 2-3 years, quite intense, is really showing the power of ICT and when you can bring in the ideas from different places around the world, both in mental support, which I think is pretty important based on the feedback we get, but also directly the ideas that people who understand the social media spaces can really take down from another place and apply into a local context. And yeah, I think it really shows that what we can do when we use the technology in a way that makes the society a better place to live in. So I think we are almost set for today. Maybe a few final words from Iceland, from Reykjavik, and what will happen next now in the coming weeks.
Yeah, thank you. So we're really in the process of doing the crowdfunding campaign, and that's going to end on the 8th of August. So we're just gearing towards that, speaking to a lot of people, doing events, just pointing everyone to that, to our crowdfunding page. And then it's preparing for the conference, and after the conference, really that's where the main work starts of getting all the support structures in place, lobbying government and starting up accelerator programs for social entrepreneurs. So it's really just that will be the place for the start of the movement really in Iceland. I was wondering if we maybe had time for just 2 more presentations of...
Yeah, absolutely. We are dynamic.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to Ari. He'll be in, he will tell you his story. So
yeah, awesome. Hello, welcome.
Thanks. My name is Ari, and I'm a student, and I'm learning product design in the Icelandic University of the Arts. And my project began there in class when we were supposed to pick 2 ingredients and study them further and try to find new ways of using something we all know and know how to use in one way, maybe, and trying to look at it in a different way and find out what's their pros and what's their cons and what could we use them in to do something new. And through that class, I began to make water bottles made out of water. That was my goal. And to do that, I used water mostly. It's like 90% water, and then it's called agar, and it's made out of red algae. And I shape it like a water bottle. And what's good about this bottle is it survives as long as it serves a purpose. So as long as it has some liquid in it, it will keep its shape, and when it's empty, it will begin to decompose immediately, instead of like the plastic, which takes maybe 1,000 years to decompose in nature. When I finished this project in school, it just went down. I just left it there, and I didn't really think about how to do more with it until I was given the opportunity to present it at Design Mars, and after that it got really much exposure there, and after it was written about in magazines in other countries, it just went viral on the internet and got really much attention all over the world, and it got more attention outside of Iceland than it actually does here. But that made it possible for me to well, when I noticed how excited people were about it, I picked it up again, and then I realized maybe what I had, because I was so close to it in the beginning. I didn't really realize that what I had in my hands. But now, after this attention it got, I've gotten the opportunity to keep working on it, and I actually got a grant to work on the project for the whole summer, which is great. Now it's now we're trying to look for answer for the most commonly asked questions about things that you can't really see immediately how it would work for mass manufacturing and stuff like that.
Great. Do you have a web page or something, Facebook page or whatever you can share? Yeah.
For this project, I have my web page is just arijons.com. It's ARIJONS.
Yeah, Tanya can share it on she's connected to the event page we have there, so we can collect regardless, and that goes for other projects you know about as well, so we can collect all great stuff happening up there.
But if you want to read more about it, it's just, you can Google algae water bottle and you will get
okay, great,
a whole bunch of results.
Yeah, it's awesome. I said wonderful. So it's great. How many? When it went viral, is quite a few thousand, or.
Sorry, what?
How big spread did you get in when it went out?
There were videos posted on Facebook that got like more than 1 million.
That's great.
And that's just through one video, and then there were like dozens of it. Then.
What did you learn? What do you think was what got it to go viral?
I think what happened was, I think people outside of Iceland and different places in the world are way more affected by this problem, and it's more talked about in other countries than here, because it hasn't really affected us in this country. So when people from other countries saw it and it was written about it and it went to the internet where it's more maybe relevant today, it really blew up, and people and also another thing that happened is when it's talked about and when it goes into the internet, it's a little bit presented like it's further along than it really is. So people feel like this is ready. This is going to replace plastic next week, or like this year, or like it gets a little lost in translation on the way. So I think that's one of the reasons why it got so much attention.
Okay, but it needs to be built on real tangible problems, some dreams and potential ahead, that you can envision a better future. I think that is something that really connects the passion and energy together. That's an awesome story. So thanks for giving it, and hope to hear more from you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
And then we have one more. We have Ricky here from Hotnik.
Perfect. So welcome.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Nice to be here.
Absolutely.
So yes, my name is Ríkharður Leo Guðmundsson. I am the founder of the Icelandic Startup Center, which is has been operated as a research and development company, focused on social projects and working with social innovators like Brandur here and others. The project which I am most focused on now is called PodNet, which is it's called more like a Pod Enterprise Network, which is a global cooperative which we're in the process of founding here in Iceland with a global outreach. The main focus for PodNet is to develop open source sustainability solutions, and we're now focused on building supply chains and social business models for products which are based on the solar roof technology, which was originally invented by Richard Nelson in Canada. We're well in our way. We've been working on this for quite many years. We have two main solutions which we are focusing on, which is the AgriPod and the CityPod. We have now projects in the pipelines, and it's great to say that we are getting the first AgriPod to Iceland now in September. So we're really looking forward to doing this on site and beginning to operate these buildings, which are, we say it's like an understatement to call it greenhouses, because we are developing this as a closed sustainable ecosystems. And we also have the vision of combining this with human habitats. So in general, we are developing really affordable and quite disruptive building solutions, which use much less energy and has much less carbon footprint. So, so yes, this is in general what I'm doing.
You can see also Pradeep is saying there from the other side that he's project manager for Asia for Plenty for All, solar roof, AgriPod.
So I mentioned Plenty for All is the humanitarian arm of PodNet, and Pradeep, he is a project manager for Asia, isn't that right?
So I think there is echo now in the background.
Sorry.
There is an echo.
Echo, okay.
Now, can you hear us? Great. I muted the Iceland office there. I think it's you have something in the background there on. But anyway, that was awesome to hear. I think we have been running now for 50 minutes, so that should be everything for today. It's great, and hope to hear more from you. I give the last word to Tanya here, and I will unmute you, and I will mute my own microphone instead. And please share the links of from your company there as well, so we have everything connected there. One final question, because you're all from startup and entrepreneurial environments there, and how is the state or the, so to say, the political support system supporting you and your projects, or do they realize that you exist, or how is that in general? And that goes for all of you in the room. How do you feel? Do you have the support of others?
Yeah, that's a really good question. As I was saying, it's very new here in Iceland, So that is one of the main targets of the conference, is to have local and national government representatives there, so they could really get a feel of what social entrepreneurship is. So really, it's very new here in Iceland from that perspective. And the support, there's a lot of support for, as Brandar was saying, for startups. But those are startups usually more focused towards tech and the big guys that were trying to reach the guys of Google and that kind of process, I think. So really, for social entrepreneurs, the support structure, that's really what we're here as part of Quaker, but also part of the Impact Iceland group, is here to create that, to raise awareness of it, and then after the conference really have that discussion of how we can support social entrepreneurs. So as you could tell, there's a lot of ideas and startups, but we really are looking for that more support to help them in the next stages.
Okay, we hope you will be successful in that endeavor, and we will support you from around the world. Maybe with a few likes and some other energy, we can bring some motivation there. So it was great to hear from you and all of the other people. Pradeep, see you later. There will be more hangouts and webinars coming up, and follow next week. Tell about what you're doing and join the journey, and we will get your message out. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.